We're live.
Right. Okay, I'd like to call the April 20th, 2026 West Washington School Board meeting to order. Mr. Secretary, get a chance to balance the Bank of Reconciliation Fund.
I have, Mr. President, and I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Mr. Secretary, have you had a chance to review the claims and transfers?
I have, and I'd make a motion for their approval as well.
We have a motion, is there a second? Motion is second, any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. You should all have a copy of the March 16th, 2026 minutes. Need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. We have an academic report, Mr.
We do have an academic report. Oh, she's blocked by the podium.
Sorry.
Mrs. Nance is here to talk about the new graduation requirements and pathways and which class they begin with and some of the changes that'll be happening due to these changing requirements from the state.
Oh, look, it worked on the first time. I just wanted to spend a few minutes. I don't want to dig super deep into the new diploma, but there are a few things that we're working on that will be phasing out and phasing in over the next couple of years that are related to the new diploma as well as to our school accountability grade. So every school in the state will receive a letter grade, an A, B, or C school, dependent upon their performance in a whole bunch of areas. So Dr. Gerges has been doing a bunch of training in this area. I'm sure she's going to come and do a full report in the near future, but there are a few things that we're implementing and being graded on now that will impact that letter grade that's going to roll out in the very near future. And we're kind of straddling two different areas. So next year, we're going to have 9th and 10th graders on the new diploma, and then we're going to have 11th and 12th graders on the old Core 40. So it's going to be a balancing act the next couple of years, rolling in new programming, rolling out, being sure that both sets of kids are getting everything that they need, and then also trying to keep up with the new accountability pieces. So I'm just going to do a few highlights of things that I think that you should be thinking on, asking questions about, making notes about. Sent around the diploma page, and on the first side, these are the diploma requirements for the base diploma. They haven't really changed since they first rolled out. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but we will get the lowest amount of accountability points for the base diploma, and we will get the lowest amount of reimbursements into our budget for the base diploma. So the incentives are going to come with the seals on the back of your page. So these seals are aligned for different customized pathways for students. So the enrollment seal is for college-bound kids. This is very similar to the academic honors diploma that we have currently. Almost the same exact criteria at the top for the honor seal. So that's not going to be difficult for us to achieve. We've been doing that for a long time. But you're going to get one level of reimbursement for the honor seal, and then a larger reimbursement for the honors plus at the bottom. You can level up to the plus seal. If you do that, you've got to have a technical certificate, which right now we're offering the CNA technical certificate. I think we're going to need to explore adding some more of those to our catalog, or you need to achieve the ICC, which is the Indiana College Core. We've rolled that out the last couple of years. We're doing a great job increasing graduates each year with that credential, so we're ahead of the game on that one. And then those students are also going to need to do 75 work-based learning hours. So that's new, and that can be 25-hour segments that they earn during the summer at a summer job. It could be jobs that they're doing during the school year. It can be during the school day when they're doing an internship. They have to get 75 hours in their high school career. The kicker is it's got to be set up ahead of time. There has to be a training plan, very specific way to track the hours, very specific way to report the hours. So a little cumbersome. We got to figure out how to handle all that either through Lost River or in-house. The employment seal is very similar to technical honors. So these are students that are going to go to a trade or technical field or go right into work after they graduate. They are pursuing a career pathway, which we do very well. We're ahead of the game on that here. They have to do 150 work-based learning hours, so a jump up from the enrollment kids. And then a big thing for them, they have to meet an attendance goal. 1 year during high school, you have to have no more than 3 unexcused absences. So we're trying to build a workforce that wants to come to work, wants to be on time, but that's going to be a struggle because we have kids that have a whole variety of absences for different reasons, and it's going to get even more intense tracking what's approved, what's not excused or unexcused, how many they have. But that might kick some kids out of that seal because of their attendance. At the bottom for the plus, if you want to level up, you've got to get a technical certificate or the ICC. And then you have to do 650 work-based learning hours. So that's a lot. They need to be starting to accumulate them. Like junior, senior year, they're probably going to need to be out of the building at least half day to get to that number of hours. So we're starting to ramp up and build in more work-based learning. But that's your biggest reimbursement is going to be down at the bottom. Enlistment, brand new seal. I love it. It's for military service, pretty straightforward. You do 1 credit of a military course, you take the ASVAB and pass it, you meet the attendance goal. If you want to level up to the plus seal, you are doing 100 hours of some sort of volunteer or community service. Again, that's got to be tracked in a very specific way, reported in a very specific way. So, few things that I just think should be on your mind to be thinking about is this increased focus on work-based learning. So we're putting a lot of things in place. We're getting kids ready. We're building partnerships, but we're going to have more and more kids that are going to need to be out of the building doing some work-based learning and or our current career pathways. I think we can do some embedded work-based learning in the building. So if I'm in a construction class, I may be able to earn some hours in my seat time because I am working with my hands every day doing construction projects. So we're in the process of putting together all those pieces right now. But that's going to be a big focus. You're also going to get accountability points for that. And we're also going to get reimbursement from the state into the budget for work-based learning. So that's going to be an incentive. Credentials of value are another big thing. There's this big list from the state of all these credentials like CNA, CCMA, Adobe, Microsoft Office. You get points attached to that. And then a student that wants to get those plus seals has to have so many points in the credential. We're also going to get accountability points. So our letter grade is going to be tied to how many credentials of value people are getting and how much work-based learning is happening. That attendance piece, we already talked about it. That's going to be big for individual students, but also attendance has a big weight in our accountability grade too. So we've done a great job hammering on attendance and we're really in pretty good shape, but that's going to continue to be a bigger focus. There is a little bit of a push from the state to start doing more high school credits in junior high, which we've done the last year or two. I think our current 8th graders can get up to 8 high school credits, which is about a semester's worth before they get to high school. That's been working okay. The idea is that they start early so that they can free up some time, 11th and 12th grade year, to get out of the building and do some of those work-based learning hours. But there is a little bit more of a push to also consider doing that in 7th grade. Individually, I'm not super excited about having 7th graders do any high school credits. If they fail those classes, they're on their high school transcripts forever. We are not working on that right now. We're working just on 8th grade, but there is more and more talk about that at the state level. And you get accountability points for offering things in junior high and offering more advanced classes in junior high. This whole diploma is really to create like a create your own adventure path for every student. So it's really very good. Like every student can customize what their high school experience is going to look like. I think an unintended consequence that we might see is that we're front loading so much and we are preparing them to be out of the building, but that also means that they're going to get a lot of their required classes done really early. So if I hit junior year and I'm a kid that doesn't love to come to school and I'm having trouble doing my work-based learning, like I don't have transportation or I'm not a reliable worker and I get fired or something like that, I think we might run into some people losing their engagement and trying to drop out early because there is no early graduation with this new diploma. The base diploma, you can't graduate early. Got to be here all 4 years. If you want to graduate early, you could get a seal, and that's still possible. But the last couple of years, we've had just a few kids here or there that we needed to graduate early, either because they had obligations at home, they needed to be working and supporting themselves, or they were dropout risks. They didn't want to come to school, weren't engaged, and we would sit down and say, if you agree to do your part and you do your work, we'll fast track you, we'll combine some things, and when you hit your 40 credits, we'll graduate you. And it has saved us some dropouts because we were able to entice them in that way. In this new setup, that's not going to be possible unless they do the seal, and then they're going to get stuck on that attendance piece. So I hope that's not the case. It's just in my brain, I think we could hit a snag there. But hopefully they're going to be engaged because they're doing things they want to do, and they're doing work-based learning, and they're doing more CTE classes, and it will be more enjoyable for them. But we could get a little unintended side effect there. Overall, I think it's great. I really have valued our partnership with ID Tech. They've been huge in helping educate me as a counselor on all the pieces. And Lost River has been amazing as well. Kevin and Jason there know their stuff when it comes to the credentials of value, how to track the work-based learning hours. We have a work-based learning specialist through Lost River that's managed most of our work-based learning to this point. So that's been very, very valuable. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, you're going to hear a lot more down the road. These are just some things in the works that I thought would be good for you to know. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. I would add, if any of the board members have relationships or connections to people that would provide work-based learning for our students, to reach out to the school. And if you are following the live stream, that's something you're interested in partnering, definitely is a true partnership, because we do need to rely on the employers, but we are going to also hopefully deliver you a hardworking individual here from school. So we're looking for more and more community partners all the time.
Very good. All right, Mr. Nance, are there any patrons signed up?
We don't have any patrons signed up.
And personnel report.
Yeah, you have a personnel report with a variety of hires and resignations. We did make an amendment to those. We had to have an addition, and we removed one. So I would
Need a motion to approve.
Yeah, I move to approve the personnel report with amendments.
Okay. Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous.
we did have on there to accept the winter coaches evaluations. Darren presented those to the board. Came in and discussed them.
Does that need a,
Yeah, we have to accept them, and then we did put them in the personnel file.
need a motion to accept the winter coach evaluation? Have motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Anything under other for personnel?
No, sir.
Old business.
Yeah, in old business, last month, we had to appoint members to the West Washington Community School Building Corporation Committee. That's a part of the 2026 debt service project that we are working on currently, funding. And I identified a short list, made a bunch of calls. Some people had interest, some people did not. It's an appointed position. They'll help us with controlling the lease agreement for the debt service project. I am recommending Barb Davis, Morgan Conrad, and here's my third.
Jim Hughes.
Jim Hughes. Wow, how could I forget Jim? Jim Hughes. He was in California when I called him. So those are the three that I'm recommending for the School Building Corporation Committee.
Very good. We have a recommendation. Is there a motion? Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. All right. How about our wastewater new business, wastewater treatment?
Yes, we finally got to the point of bidding our project for the wastewater treatment plant. You have a letter in there from our engineer, and you also have the bid sheet I recommend accepting the low bid, which was from Temple and Temple Excavating and Paving at $972,457.
We have a recommendation, is there a motion? There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. We're gonna have some wastewater. How about the scope of work for our bond? project?
Yeah, for our newest project, things are moving quite quickly, and thank goodness we need to capture some savings. Ryan is here to share the scope and contract cost for the 2026 bond project.
Thank you guys for having me here. Gonna give you guys a little bit of an overview of the project. I know we talked last time I was here, kind of high level, had some good ideas, and we've kind of narrowed that down to a scope of work. So big point on the scope item 1 would be the HVAC replacement, 30 units, new units, 2 additional units that you guys already have in place, we would be installing. One thing to add there is that the new units we're going to convert to natural gas, get it off the electric side of the utility bill. Jackson's going to help us with that. You already have natural gas on a few units in the back, so expanding that service really helped over the winter months when we've had some really cold temperatures, improve classroom environment, and also those new units are high efficiency and come with economizers, so some free cooling when the temperature's right outside. So the other piece of this is there is a solar aspect to the project. The array was downsized to maximize the ITC, but also maximize the energy savings for the school. So that the savings will be about 40% of your utility bill now on an annual basis. We'll be cutting that down. So it equates to about $100,000 annually. That will be coming off that operational budget. Kind of one thing that came up toward the end was some asphalt work for some safety and some drainage in the back area. It's going to be kind of a nice piece there because we're going to use a lot of that for the laydown area for the equipment and roofing. So once we're done with that, that'll be recoated, remilled, re-asphalted, correcting the drainage back there, and then restriped for that bus area, and then coming along the side over there. So a lot of our construction activities will be coming from that back corner there onto the roof. And then the final piece of the whole puzzle is the roof itself. Again, we've got a white TPO product, high reflectivity. It's a big benefit for energy efficiency and also for the solar gains as well. And then there's a piece to that scope that's going to be included in the ITC, the investment tax credit. You guys will be able to take credit for that. So all that to say, about $100,000 of savings annually for the school district, with about $600,000 to $700,000 that'll be coming back to you guys directly through this tax credit for the project itself. Schedule, assuming successful, board approval, roof and solar starting in late May, with the HVAC having a little bit longer lead time for the equipment, starting in June, July, and then the goal will be wrapped up with everything before the start of the 2026-2027 school year. So, sorry, gave you guys a fire hose.
Sounds good.
So the 3 main scopes of the project contribute to the ITC, which are some energy savings with the roof,
Yes, sir.
energy savings with the HVAC, and energy savings from putting the solar on the roof. And all of it will be roof mounted, not anywhere on campus.
That's correct.
So we're not giving up any real estate for that. But the annual savings are going to be important in our operations budget because the operations budget is being cut by the Senate Bill 1 that was enacted last year. And the tax credit, when it comes, can be put into our rainy day fund, which can be utilized for various expenses. But the beauty of the rainy day fund is you can utilize it. We have a good, healthy rainy day fund now. You can utilize it if you have some unexpected expense, but you also have the ability to do projects, smaller projects like we've done in the past that make a big impact on our student body and daily life of our students. But we get to make that decision as a school board without having to go to our taxpayers and say anything about the tax rate. And so we can tackle some of these things that we might want to do in smaller bites using the money in our own account rather than having to go through debt service. So I think it's a net positive to do some of these things. The roof was a necessity. The HVAC was a necessity. I consider the solar the sweetener. You know, it kind of sweetens the deal to allow us to do greater things. And fortunately, I think you're going to share the total cost. It will leave us some room for some of the other things we want to do that are on our list, and we have that prioritized list that all of the board members have. But, you know, school classroom furniture, I've already got quotes to move forward with a complete replacement of all classroom furniture, and then some of the other things that we have listed. Additionally, we're going to do the softball press box. We have money remaining for that. And then with the savings from any additional savings, but also savings from our wastewater treatment project, we're going to be able to check off some of those other things that we put in our planning session, that we added to our list during the planning session in January. So I'm hoping we can get to a scope of work that covers almost all of the things that we included in our list, attacking them from number one down, because we've spent a significant amount of time deciding the priorities of those projects.
Yeah, and that was, that's a great point. Again, you guys have borrowing capacity of $5 million, there's bond costs to that, obviously, so I wouldn't say that's completely. Some of our quotes initially came back, we were pushing 4.6 million, so kind of getting with Mr. Nance, understanding the other priorities like furniture, press box, etc. Again, priorities that are going to affect school life. At our price back down, our total price now is right around just a hair over 4.3 million, all in with everything scope items. And so really wanted to work with you guys to say, hey, we don't want to be the only project to get done with one bond insurance, obviously. And so keeping that door open for you guys to get these other projects done.
I do have to say that making the choice we did going with AFP has already been fruitful, because I was able to go look at different roof products, make an educated decision. I took Chris Jarrell along with me. Obviously, he's very familiar with being on our roof, so he had a lot of questions. Those questions opened up some holes or some decision-making priorities for us about who we worked with and what product we went with. And then we went back to Ryan, and he went to those. He's acting kind of as project manager, collecting all these bids and negotiating them for us to help drive down the price between competing contractors. And I feel really confident about the contract that's being offered to us tonight, because it is giving us room to do additional things. And fortunately, our project costs looks to be coming well under budget for the wastewater treatment plant as well. And that gives us the ability to do not just these things that are very important to the structure of our building. We have to protect this, it protects us. But additionally, then we have the ability to do some things that affect the daily lives of our staff and our students. So,
yeah, appreciate all of your partnership, field trip, all of it.
Yeah. All right. We get a motion to approve the scope of work for 2026 bond project. That motion, is there a second? Second. Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
That cancel some ECA checks.
this happens from time to time. We write checks. They never end up being cashed. We wait to appropriate amount of time, and then we request the board to be able to cancel them. So we have 5, and they're in your packet, but need approval to cancel those checks.
Okay, need a motion to cancel those 5 ECA checks. A motion and a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Clearing the dormant ECA fund.
So when we met we meet regularly with the finance committee. Carrie and Sal are on the finance committee. A couple of years ago, we took the task of looking at our ECA funds, because every time some club or organization wants to open a fund, they go and they open a fund, and then they raise a little bit of money, and then that club is no longer in existence, and then we have these little funds here and there that have $2 in them, $20 in them, no dollars in them. But in order to close the funds, we have to seek permission. So we've really cleaned that up over the course of the last couple of years. We continue to do that. When we see a fund that's dormant, we do the investigative work to see if the club is still in function. And then there are recommendations. Those funds are going to go to the elementary and high school general funds, correspondence with where the club was originally started.
Need a motion to clear the dormant ECA funds.
So moved.
The motions are second.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Field trip request. Mr. Secretary.
We have a number of them here, Mr. President, and they have been recommended for approval by Dr. Gertis and Mr. Rosenbaum, so I would, based on that, make a motion for their approval as well.
The motions are second. Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. All right. We have something under other.
The next a community member came forward to me wanting to make a donation to Vertimax 8EX and Raptor with portable mount. It's utilized in the weight training area. It's for jumping training. So the Vertimax is vertical to improve. It's broad jump and vertical jumps and speed. But it was donated brand new to the school, and it is an amount greater than $5,000. And we get donations of substantial size. It's required that we seek approval from the board to accept those donations.
Very good. Need a motion to approve the donation of a Vertimax AEX. Motions are second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. All right. Any other business to be presented to the board? We're adjourned.
We're gonna see a lot of dunks in the basketball season.
That's right.